All right, jerk-offs, how we doing? How we feeling on this Monday? Finally, we have an episode coming out at the right time. No lateness. We're caught up. We're ready to go. I am in Edinburgh. This episode is recorded in Edinburgh. Bit of Scotland for you. I know Scotland, not a Commonwealth country, obviously, but it is part of the Commonwealth, technically, I assume. Part of the United Kingdom, part of the Commonwealth. I think that goes hand in hand. It's cool to be up here. I've never been in Edinburgh outside of the festival, so that's fun. Just kind of seeing it a bit empty, seeing it a bit more full of Scottish people, not just London people with blue hair. If you've ever been to an arts festival, you will know that there is more blue hair per capita than any other place in the world, and also finally get to go through Edinburgh without seeing silent discos taking over the goddamn streets. If you've ever been in Edinburgh during the festival, it is all about those silent discos singing "We Are the Champions" in public while clearly not being champions. It is an absolute nightmare. But I just had a weekend up here doing gigs at the Monkey Barrel Comedy Club, which is awesome. It's like one of those venues. It's a bit new. I think it's been going 2 years. I was hanging out with the owners and stuff. It's just great, man. It's like 100 people. It's rammed every night, and they are there for the comedy. Not just that thing in the UK where, like, on a weekend you will just get people coming in because it's a night out. It's like the kind of early part of the stag do that kind of slows everybody down. That's the kind of vibe in a lot of comedy clubs. But the Monkey Barrel, man, it's people who want to be there for the comedy. They love it, and yeah, man, it was a really good weekend there. On this episode, I found myself a Scottish comedian. He was headlining the Saturday night at the Monkey Barrel. It's Mark Nelson. I know Mark through Sydney because I think it was 2 years ago now. Oh no, it would have been last year. He was in Sydney doing the Just for Laughs comedy festival at the Opera House, and I knew him. He came and did my room, and he's just one of the loveliest people in stand-up comedy. I really like this dude, and everybody gets excited by his presence just because he's so lovely and just like a nice fella, and he's fucking funny too. So yeah, I was excited to get him on, have a chat with him, just because I think when you come to Scotland from another country, when you come to Scotland, not being part of the UK, you kind of have like this groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons in your head. You kind of got this Braveheart kind of vibe in your head. Then you come to Scotland, and it is that, but it's not that. That's the one thing that I'm excited to talk to you about, just that kind of like Scottish vibe, like how close they are to the stereotype, but then that little separation from that, And I've never been here during the Fringe, which is a very like diluted experience of Scotland. Like being here outside of it has been like just kind of interesting because like if you don't know, like Edinburgh Fringe, during the Fringe the population of Edinburgh is 1.5 million, and outside of the Fringe it's 500,000. Like that's how many people come across, like artists as well as audience members. So this has been like kind of just interesting, getting around it, getting back to the old haunts, because like one of the things with the Fringe, it all kind of takes place in Old Town, so that's the only area of Edinburgh I knew, whereas like this weekend I was staying out in Leith, which is closer to the water and like just the other side of town, and also in Newtown, and like yeah, there's just so much more to this city than what I saw during the Fringe. So if you've come up to see some shows during the Fringe, definitely take the time to come back up and see it outside, because I think there's a whole lot more to Scotland than that. I want to keep this thing brief just because I want to get into this episode. It was the first time I recorded an episode after a gig. That was fun. That was in the Airbnb, just having a chat to Mark Nelson. If you do like the podcast, please get in touch. I love it when you guys chat to me. Get me on Twitter at Dan Muggleton, Instagram at Dan Muggleton. If you message me, I promise to reply. That is my promise, my solemn vow to you to do that. And obviously, if you ever want to come see me live, the next show I'm doing in London is the Australian Comedians Dope Comedy Show this Sunday, December 2nd at the Backyard Comedy Club. Tickets are available at Design My Night and Ticket Text. That's right. Proper promotional shit. So professional. But no, I want to get into this episode with Mark Nelson. You guys are going to love it. It's a great chat with him. Please listen in. Wrap your ears around it. Get excited. Your Britain's Got Talent story. That's what I want from you. You know, that's what I need. That's the thing. People are saying this. Everyone's just too well adjusted. You know, like they want a little bit more intrigue.
Yeah.
You could be my man of mystery.
I'll give you intrigue.
You give me intrigue.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. If you want to keep the intrigue up, you speak right into that mic. You don't know.
Okay.
These people, man. These people listen to this thing. My beautiful fans get very annoyed at me for my sound quality when the guest doesn't talk into the mic, and I'm like, guys, I had nothing to do with it.
Right, cool.
I'm just not technically proficient enough to fix it.
Excellent.
That's kind of where I'm at. But hey, it's this is the first time I've had a chat with someone after a gig.
Is it?
Yeah, everyone.
Oh, really?
Everyone else has kind of been early on, like that kind of daytime
energy.
You know?
Yeah, it'll be a different vibe of a podcast.
Absolutely. Like a comedian post gig and pre gig, two different people.
Oh Christ, yeah.
Pre gig, I'm tired. I think a gig for me now is kind of like a coffee.
Yeah, that's true. I found gigs get me over hangovers as well.
Absolutely right.
Like I'm dreading going on stage.
Yeah.
But then the adrenaline kicks in while we're on stage, and I immediately gets rid of the hangover.
Exactly, right? The second you get off stage, you're kind of like, oh, I think the world's fine.
Yeah, I'll start drinking again.
I mean, that's probably part of it too, hey? It's just like that inherent hair of the dog of what's going on. But no, I mean, I had that last Sunday. I had like a real big night, and I had a gig at 8 p.m. and like I didn't leave my house the whole day. Like, I was like, one of those days like you're in bed all day. My girlfriend as well, just in bed. And I was like, I want to bail on this gig so bad. But it wasn't one of those ones who could bail, so I just did it. So the gig felt fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it was amazing. It's better. It's better than like Nurofen the night before.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Aye.
My friend had this thing. It's like Dr. Stage. That's what he calls it. It's just like
Dr. Stage. Oh, that's a great. That's a great way to.
It fixes you up.
Yeah.
Because like I think because your body's so focused for that like 20 minutes.
You don't think about anything else as well.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, your body just fixes itself.
Exactly. And then you just back in. Yeah. You're like, oh fuck, all right, I'm a human again. Let's go. And then that's why we drink so much as comedians, I think. Except, I think I used to be better at like only drinking if it was like particularly good or particularly bad. You know?
All right. So as a celebratory thing or a commiseratory thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like, well, no, it's just that's how I get my money's worth. I want to make this fee worthwhile.
Yeah,
fuck it, give me some freebies, son. Lay it on me. That's actually that's something between here and Australia. I don't know if you noticed when you were in Australia that in Australia basically you get free drinks when you do a gig, whereas here, no. And it's because you guys drink so much.
It's because we take the piss.
Yeah.
And because I noticed it when I was over doing in Sydney. Like you never pay for a drink, and I've spoken to acts that have come over from like Australia, Canada, America, and they can't believe you have to pay for drinks.
Yeah,
over here. But then there has been some nights where I have, like Jongleurs used to give you drinks tokens, so you'd get like 3 drinks tokens.
Yeah.
Every night, and myself and a guy Ray Bradshaw.
Yeah,
he's a comic. We were down in London, Camden, and we knew the guy behind the bar pretty well. And he just said, "Oh, just give us a nod whenever even if you've run out of drinks tokens, I'll sort you out."
Yeah.
And then the next night we didn't get any drinks tokens because we ripped the arse out of the fucking like.
Really, you guys properly just went for it.
Fucking 600 quid bar tab in a night. So we can't be
and
trusted.
That's why. Yeah. Well, I this is like kind of industry rumor, but I've heard the Sydney Comedy Store, because they used to be like free drinks forever, and then they did like drink tokens.
Yeah.
But then the bar staff would never accept the token. You'd be like, hey, can I use my token? They're like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So it just kept going. But then like now there's no token. It's like you do have to pay for drinks sometimes. I didn't have to last time I was there, but yeah, it was because I heard they would lose like $1 million
Oh, Jesus.
on the bar every year.
Oh, God.
And that's in the country here, like, it's more professional. So they're just like, we can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
We can't just be losing $1 million. You guys drink so much more.
We get, because like at the stand in Edinburgh, Glasgow, Newcastle, you get reduced drinks. So you get the drink for like a third of the price.
Third?
Yeah. And
That's pretty good.
it's all right. Yeah.
What's that, like £2 for a beer?
Yeah, pretty much. And
very
you
reasonable.
if you know the bar staff, a lot of the time they'll just wave you on and go, no, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
But when it happens during the festival, because the stand is so busy, they have
All
new
these,
people that they've just... So you're left with that kind of awkwardness of you don't want to pay a $5 for a drink, but you also don't want to be sitting there going, actually, I normally get these for, because they've got no fucking idea who you are.
But this is the thing. I feel none of that shame.
Oh,
like just,
right.
just honestly, like I remember other people like that, and I'm like, no, like I think, because I don't know how you kind of answered comedy. We can get into that, but I started it by doing an open mic, like running an open mic every Wednesday, like 5 hours a week. So it's like asking for comps and stuff. Like I won't tend to ask for a comp during the festival. But like outside of that, I'm just like, no, I'll ask for a comp.
Yeah.
Like a free drink, I'm a comedian.
I'll
say I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
I paid my debt to the arts in those like 2 years of every single week spending 5 hours for like no money. It was like literally like I think we got like maybe $50 a week for 5 hours of work, which in Australia is well below minimum wage. 14-year-olds making pizzas are making more money than that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, like I've done my bit. We're good. You know what I mean? I
read a thing. It was just this weekend actually. I read a story about these two guys that used to get into. This was during the kind of hair rock, like kind of when Def Leppard and Bon Jovi and stuff.
Yeah, like huge. Proper 80s times.
And they used to get into most gigs for free by going round the back to the stage entrance carrying pizzas. And they're like, nobody ever stopped someone carrying a pizza.
That's a fucking...
Because of that, there's no way a guy would be carrying a 12-inch hot pizza.
Yeah, just
and they'd just get in there, discard the pizzas.
That's so fucking
they'd be backstage
clever.
for free.
That's the thing. Like a guy has to come up with like a method to like carry a pizza or something. Whereas like girls at concerts, it's just like, hello, I'd like to go backstage, and the band's like, sounds great, cool. No, that's super reasonable. Oh man, that's I love stuff like that. It's like the overalls principle. Like no one ever stops a man wearing overalls.
Oh yeah.
You can just get in anywhere.
Yeah, like a high visibility jacket.
Yeah. Do you guys have high vis here?
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah.
In Australia, it's like that's like a thing. I feel like
high-vis jackets,
your high vis. Isn't like that's like a class.
Yeah.
That's like the closest thing Australia has to classes.
Right, okay.
It's like, you're a high vis dude.
Right, okay.
You're one of them high vis, you know? You go into the bar, catch the high vis, like they want to play trivia? Probably not. Like they're just there to, do high vis shit like drink. I guess I should say who you are. Everyone, I'm kind of like, well, I should say I'm here with Mark Nelson, but everyone's like, it's in the fucking episode title. Like everyone knows what's going on. But at the same time, I still like to introduce you.
No.
Scotland's Mark Nelson.
Scotland's Mark Nelson.
Yeah, as I told you earlier, I refuse to narrow it down.
Yeah, I know. We'll just cover the whole country.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like the way they do the weather in this.
Yeah.
In Britain. Yeah, we just cover Scotland as an entire country.
It's like Scotland's going to be wet.
Yeah.
And now for Wales.
Yeah.
Is that for real? Like in the weather on the TV? Like you guys are
pretty
just,
much. Yeah.
It's like York is going to be this, Newcastle's going to be this, and Scotland is going to be...
A lot of the time they'll just say the north, and that'll cover everything above, like Stoke.
Get the fuck out of
yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
What, but like
yeah.
London and Brighton and Bath
Yeah,
are all
yeah,
separated.
yeah.
Oh, come on.
And in the north, this week,
North this week.
it's going to be
Your weather's
gonna
Monday
be
for the
desolate.
rest of the week.
Yeah.
We don't even do it by the day. It's just like,
yeah.
yeah, so January for the north is going to be cold and brackets wet. Good, that's great. No, I think that's like the funniest thing with the road signs, like the north. Like, if you've never driven around the UK, the road signs, like it's got the places and the distance, but it's like also in the direction you're heading. It's like
totally,
the north,
Yeah.
just all in capitals.
It's like
and
Game
it's
of
just like,
Thrones kind of shit.
yeah. It's like the east, and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
Like,
But then I suppose it's because we're such a small island comparatively.
yeah.
It's you kind of only need that. I mean, you kind of like direction wise. I reckon if you knew which way north, south, east, and west was, you'd get to where you were trying to get in Britain eventually. Do you know
You'd
what I mean?
figure it
It's
out?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's true, actually. You would just be like, I'm north. All right, I'm north enough. Now I need to go east.
Yeah. Exactly.
Am I
yeah,
east enough?
yeah.
Cool, I'm here.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
No, I just find it like, because you guys like separate it. But I have to think Scotland's its own noble beast, right? Like you guys, that's one thing that I notice on stage here. Like when I'm like, you guys are the country.
Yeah.
And it's something like, so your line about like inventing English.
Yeah.
And I notice when I say that in Scotland, people are like, we didn't fucking invent English, cunt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, it's like
yeah.
it's real kind of like, mate, that's not us.
Yeah.
Like we do like Celtic. Is there a Scottish language?
Gaelic.
Gaelic. There we
Yeah,
go.
so
Gaelic.
Scottish Gaelic and so Irish Gaelic.
Irish Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because my kids go to the Gaelic school.
Wait, so they learn in Gaelic?
Yeah, completely immersed in Gaelic. Because my wife is from the Isle of Lewis,
The Isle of Lewis?
which is in the west of Scotland.
Okay. And is that a very strong Scottish tradition? Is that the idea?
It's just that, yeah. I mean, it's the place called Stornoway, and it's everyone speaks Gaelic. That's the.
What is like day to day?
I mean, it would have been when she was growing up there. It would have been a lot more prevalent,
Right?
but with people moving there, and it's still very widely spoken. And but yeah, my kids. So my daughter goes to a Gaelic school, and my son goes to a Gaelic nursery.
Right. And so, what do you speak at home?
We speak. Well, that's the thing. They encourage you to speak English at home because they're almost like that. We'll take care of the Gaelic.
Right.
You make sure they're
So like
shit
kinda like
hot in the English.
The
Yeah.
opposite of like, I mean, in Australia, I guess it'd be like a typical of like a Chinese immigrant to speak like Cantonese at home.
Yeah.
And then obviously English at school.
Yeah.
And that's the way. But you guys flip it.
Yeah.
So is Gaelic like? I know because I got some Irish mates, and they're like in Ireland, like speaking Irish.
Yeah.
It's kind of been pushed very hard to kind
Yeah.
of retain more of that identity.
Yeah.
Is that the same in Scotland?
I don't think it's been pushed. A lot of people kind of push back against it.
Right.
Because there was a huge kind of hoo-ha recently about so police cars in Scotland now have police and then same with police, but it's just spelt differently.
Oh, sorry.
That's in Gaelic.
You were just like, it says please. I mean, it's always said please, but like, it was just like, no,
so they've put the Gaelic
right
in there as well, and there's a lot of people going, why the fuck do we need this and all this?
But like Wales, they're very, here's the English, here's the Welsh.
See, the Welsh are very, very passionate about their language.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, I don't buy into it. I refuse to.
Don't?
It's like you're Wales, bro. Just come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't think Scotland's as passionate about about Gaelic.
But you guys, my vibe of Scotland is that you guys are like, we're not England. Like, we're not this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're separate. So I thought the language would be a natural kind of accessory to that. But you guys use English, so.
But then there's also a language called Scots, which is English.
Okay.
But it's just spoken as it's almost like a phonetical language. So the way we speak in our accents, it'll be written down like that.
Wait, are you talking like kind of train spotting? Like
No, not even that. very much kind of Robert Burns kind of. Try to think of examples.
Yeah.
Basically written the way we would say it.
But I thought that was like the whole train spotting thing. Like it was written.
Well, yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, but that's much more of a slang.
Okay,
modern
right. But this is like a
type. Yeah.
proper.
Yeah.
But wait, like, is it like Gaelic, or is it like the way that Scottish people speak English?
It's how Scottish people speak English.
Uh-huh.
So there will be words that we use that the rest of the UK don't have.
Yeah.
But that's like anywhere. That's like any like.
Yeah, just your typical slang.
Yeah, places in Yorkshire will have words that the rest of the country don't use. So, but yeah, you get books completely written in Scots.
Right, and so how's your Gaelic?
My Gaelic's awful. I don't speak a word of Gaelic.
Wait, so why are you getting it? Because your wife wants your kids to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought this was like a thing.
Yeah.
Like you
so
and her.
So her mum worked at the Gaelic school, and there's a big tradition of it. And
Right.
it is a good school as well, and
Yeah.
it's quite nice to have it. It's quite a community kind of feel about the school, so it's a good.
Well, yeah, it's like the
thing
17 people in Scotland who speak. Of course, the community feel.
But I mean, I've looked into learning it, and it's ridiculously hard. It is,
Right.
like it is so hard because it's got no. It's not like going to learn French or German.
Yeah.
Where there are certain grammatical rules that will apply.
Well, they're derived from the same.
Yeah.
So Gaelic is kind of off its. Okay.
Yeah. So they've got completely different rules. And what I found out just over the summer was there are very, very few words in Gaelic that rhyme.
Oh.
So Gaelic songs are
terrible. Gaelic rapping doesn't exist.
They're actually beautiful, but they're very haunting, and they're very kind of lyrical and poetic. But you could never write a catchy pop song.
Never a jingle. Never a Gaelic jingle.
Because fuck all rhymes with each other. So it's.
That's funny. That's so interesting how different languages kind of work in that way. So my friend, he's a fucking idiot. He's like talking about it'd be really easy to be a rapper in Italian.
Yeah, because it's always
it's always ending in a vowel, you know.
Yeah,
you can always, you
yeah.
can get through it.
That's nice. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. It's just like no. It's I find in Australia like there's no foreign language speaking really. Like it's just not something we pursue. Like similar to England, I guess, but probably even less so.
Yeah.
Because we're so isolated. Like, and it's weird because we still got that English influence where it's like if you're gonna learn something, probably learn French or German. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
We're next to China.
Yeah.
Like, we're next to Japan. Like, why aren't we learning an Asian language?
Exactly,
You know? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. But I like that you guys are keeping the Gaelic thing going. But wouldn't it be weird to have, like, a language your kids speak, but you don't? Like, do you understand it? Or is it just like...
No, not at all. I genuinely don't understand the word of it.
So your parents never spoke Gaelic?
No, because I'm from a completely different part of Scotland. I'm from like the south of Scotland. So
the south of Scotland. Is this considered the south of Scotland, Edinburgh?
No, this is the east.
This is the east.
This is the east. So you've got kind of... So...
Give me a place name. Give me a place name for where you're from.
I'm from Dumfries.
Dumfries. That's a good name.
Which is right on the... It's the last big town before England.
Okay. So like a border town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that like... Does that mean you got more English influence? Does that mean you got more like fuck off, we're Scottish? Like what's the kind of vibe?
It's a weird kind of place, Dumfries, because it's the only place in Scotland that regularly votes Tory.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it because you're doing well, or
it's quite a big farming community, so there's money and stuff, but also I think it has a lot to do with how the close proximity to England.
Right.
It's and it annoys me. It really, really, really fucking annoys me.
They vote Tory.
And it's every single time there's always going to be, because the current Secretary of State for Scotland in the cabinet is my mum and dad's local MP.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like Dumfries, love the Tory. Did they vote Leave?
I think they did, actually. I
thought all of Scotland voted Remain. I had this weird...
I know majority-wise, Scotland voted Remain.
Yeah. I actually thought it was literally every kind of county.
Do you know what? They very well may have, and I might be doing Dumfries a complete disservice here.
Mate,
but
light them up.
But
I got. If we get some complaints from
I
Dumfries, I'm fine
I
with
wouldn't
that.
be surprised if they'd voted.
Oh man, that was like, yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, I don't know if this is in any way insulting, but most other people would collapse like the UK into like one place, unless you're kind of traveling through it, right? Because you'd want to see Scotland and you want to see Wales, but like if you're thinking about otherwise, you kind of collapse it together. But like that was one of the things when because I've only been here during the Edinburgh Fringe apart from this weekend, and like that's not really Scotland.
No,
it's just like everybody's in town.
Yeah,
and it's mainly London.
Yeah. The French is just
Yeah, it's not like a representation of Scottish people, but like when you get chatting to Scots, like they've got their own. You know, you guys have your own thing.
Oh, Edinburgh's every August. Edinburgh is just a different district of London. That's literally all it is.
Do you like it or do you dislike it?
I like the amount of stuff that comes to it, but it gets very, very. It does get annoying because it genuinely does feel like it's a playground for a month for some people, and I wouldn't mind it, but I think Scottish people kind of get discarded during that month.
Well, that's the joke at every Fringe show. It's like, never any Scottish people. Yeah, it's like I've only been at Edinburgh during the Fringe. I've never met a Scottish. That's
there's
some truth in that.
There's a huge amount of truth in that. And
right. What about you? You're like a Scottish hero.
Well, I mean. Thank you.
I was waiting to see how long you'd take to pick up on that. Being like, oh wait, Dan said nice, yeah, sure.
But no, I mean there will be, and it is getting better,
right?
But I do think there's a lot of what the Edinburgh Fringe has become is very much a specific type of comedian that will do well.
Sure.
And it's not even it's generally not even a national thing. It is are you of that specific type of comedian that does that specific type of comedy in the specific clubs in London year in, year out, then you're going to do well in Edinburgh.
Yeah, because they've kind of got like this preconceived. Yeah. I gotcha. That's interesting because like. As we were just saying earlier tonight, like it's actually super beneficial for Edinburgh to have the Fringe. Like you talk to Scottish people, especially students, they make their years like extra cash in that 1 month. You know, just like flyering, working bars.
And landlords here just fucking clean up. It's just
we know. Fucking every act coming into Edinburgh's like, so how much is the rent? Yeah, of course. I'm sure it's that much every month. Yeah, cool. But yeah, it's like it's an interesting thing because like obviously, I don't know, like in my head, like Scotland definitely has like a strong kind of arts tradition. Yeah, like that's like especially comedy. Like you think comedy, you think Scottish. Yeah, like as its own kind of proud thing. Yeah, but then like Edinburgh, I guess is just kind of it's big one. Like everyone's got to come to the big one, and the big one means the big city's going to come. Yeah, like
in terms of comedy, I think. We essentially have the inventor of modern stand-up comedy in Billy Connolly. Like he pretty much invented what we do. That's.
Do you mean that in terms of UK comedy, or do you mean that in terms of comedy as a stand-up comedy as a whole?
I think it in terms of stand-up comedy as a whole. I think it is.
Well, obviously, I come from probably American traditions in terms of comedy because Australia doesn't really have any comedy traditions. That's how comedy in Australia hasn't been going that long. There's no comedian in Australia whose father was a comedian.
Right, okay, right.
You know what I mean? Or mother. Like that's just not a thing. Whereas in the UK, there's like 7 of them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how can you? That is like one of the most mind-blowing things to me in this country. It's just like, what did your dad do? Oh, he's a comedian. What do you do? Oh, I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
It's just that fucking UK thing, like the family business. That's insane. But I think most people would say that Mark Twain invented stand-up comedy.
All right. Okay.
I'm not. This is me. This is me as like being a nerd about this thing that we do.
I can see what you mean.
Because he used to do the speaking tours. Like he used to do speaking tours in addition to the book.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was what he did. And so most people say that's kind of he was the first guy to just kind of go on stage and go around and talk and make people laugh, and that was the point.
That is I can see your
I mean, this is actually thoroughly disappointing for me. This is like a Scottish person just backing down, like,
No, I'm
backing down on
very,
an
very
argument.
willing to accept that. That's
Just thoroughly disappointing.
Yeah.
I was ready for you to just be like, "What the fuck?" You like Mark Twain.
Mark
Like,
Twain.
you're just
Fuck off, Mark Twain.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm looking for. Man. But no. So your first kind of big thing into comedy was you were Scottish Comedian of the Year. Now
The very first
Scottish Comedian of the Year. Like before you, there were no Scottish Comedians of the Year.
It was between me and Mark Twain.
Billy Connolly's being like, I'm gonna enter next year. I think that's the way to do the comp. But like Scottish Comedian of the Year, like for those who don't kind of know the comedy thing, that doesn't happen in any other country. There's never like Australian Comedian of the Year, like American Comedian of the Year. But it's England, Scotland. Is there Welsh Comedian of the Year? There's Irish Comedian of the Year.
There's an Irish. I don't think there is a Welsh.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very funny over there. I want this.
Your hatred towards the Welsh is exceptional.
It's fun, isn't it? That's the thing. People don't understand. Like, it's important to hate a group for no reason. Like, in like Wales, like fuck them. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they don't care. I don't care. Like, it's just it's comfortable. It's like you guys with the English, because you guys got because you live in Glasgow now.
Yeah.
Do you kind of identify with that Glasgow thing, or just like Dumfries? Like,
no, I totally identify myself as Glaswegian now.
Okay, right.
Because I've lived there. I mean, I'll have lived there now longer than I have anywhere else.
Right.
So yeah.
So you got out of there quite early.
Well, I moved up to Glasgow when I was 17.
Right.
To go to university. So. And I've been there ever since.
Oh, right. Well, I know Edinburgh's got some pretty prestigious unis. There's Glasgow.
Glasgow's good. Yeah, it's good.
Because, people go from, like, all over the UK to Scottish universities.
Yeah,
Very
Glasgow
strong.
University is pretty prestigious.
Were you there? Was that what you were in? What were you studying?
I did film studies.
Film studies? Well, that stopped being prestigious quite quickly,
I know. And then I got kicked out. I got kicked off the course in second year because for not turning up.
What did you got kicked out of...
I got kicked off the course of film studies.
So what, you didn't finish your film
studies?
studies?
No, I didn't finish film studies, but I ended up getting a degree in politics.
What?
Yeah.
Who fucking moves from film studies to politics?
Because
it's supposed to be the opposite. It's supposed to be like, I've got big ambitions. Wait a second. The film's pretty sick.
But because you've got you got to fill your time.
Yeah.
And I was doing that, and I was doing English literature as well, and then I loved being at university.
Yeah.
So I thought,
how do I extend my university experience?
I want to stay here for another couple of years, so I'll.
Interesting. How long were you at uni? All up?
5 years in total.
I was at university 5 years.
I resat a year.
You resat? Well, I didn't do that. I just did a double degree. Not a big deal. Oh man, yeah. No, I think there's like that's interesting. So politics. Did you ever work in anything else? Did you?
In terms of.
Like a job? Did you ever have a job?
Oh yeah. But normal kind of like working in shops and working in
right, but never like an office.
Well, no, not really. I worked for Scottish Power.
Scottish Power
for a while, but
I love that Scottish Power is obviously like a kind of electrical gas, whatever, but it really seems like a racist group.
Yeah.
Like, just that name? Like, I work for Scottish Power?
It's hardly.
Like, all right.
It's now owned by the Spanish.
Really?
Yeah.
Scottish Power's owned by the Spanish?
Completely owned by Spain.
Look at that. Some bloody late Spanish colonization.
Exactly.
Who knew?
I know.
I thought they got that out of the system with South America, but now they're just like, no, we'll get Scottish Power. We'll show them. That's cool. So wait, was comedy like your first kind of... How early did you start? Because you've been going a while.
Yeah, I started when I was 26, which is quite late.
Yeah, that is.
Considering now,
dude, these days they're young.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I'm quite glad because I don't think I'd have had I certainly wouldn't have had the confidence to do it.
Right.
And I don't think I'd have had the experience enough to talk about things.
Yeah.
At that kind of stage, I think I'd know, because when you there are some young comics that are exceptional and are clearly but born to do it. But
they know who they are as people. Hey?
Exactly.
Isn't that the weirdest thing? Like,
exactly.
It's not just the comedy.
Yeah.
It's like you talk to them, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You kind of have this whole thing down.
But then you see a lot of young comics as well that go on and are fucking awful. and they're just purely just doing it because they want to be a comedian, but they don't have anything to say. They don't have anything to talk about. And I worry that would have been me, but I don't have the ignorance to go, that's cool, this is funny. I think I'd be going, you're talking utter shite here.
Yeah,
so
like,
this isn't funny. So just
you should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Were you good early, or did you take some time?
Thankfully I kind of hit the ground running, which was good. So yeah, I think
that's an interesting divide between comedians: the people who like kind of had it when they started, and then the people who they didn't know what the game was until a little bit in.
Yeah,
because I did 2 gigs. First one went well, second one did like really bad, like, and I just didn't do comedy for like a year.
Right.
After that, I was like, nah, this clearly isn't for me.
Well, what made you go back?
I wrote a play, and that kind of got me into like my university's like comedy thing again. Mm-hmm. I got asked to write a play. Like my friend was like, she's like, you should write this thing, and I got like a week to write like an hour long thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know the best way to describe it. Like, you know, some people join things, like they're like joiners. They're like, oh, I've got an interest in this. I should look up other people who do that and get involved. I'm the opposite of that. I'm like, you know, I'm the person who's like a professional yogi, but I've only ever looked at YouTube videos.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
You know, like just like I'm just not. I don't want to be in a room. I don't want to be a part of anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of drew me back in, and then I was like, oh yeah, and then I went to New York to visit my kind of girlfriend at the time, like not the one I'm with currently, but she had a proper job, and so she was like, well, you know, I got to do that, and I was like, okay, and I just did some comedy.
Nice.
I just had nothing to do. You know what I mean? Like actually, just that kind of like, oh well, I may as well.
Yeah. And New York's a pretty cool place to do that,
dude. It's like it's the best because you suck. Like as I said, I was one of those guys that sucked. I sucked for ages, and like New York's a great place because everyone sucks at the open mics.
Yeah.
If you're good, you leave.
Yeah.
You know, and so you just get to do like 30 gigs in like 3 weeks, which in Australia you couldn't do back then. And you get like a little bit more of the sucking out. So you get like you get slightly more confident. Your jokes get slightly less shit, and then you go back to Australia and you're like, oh man, I can roll with this.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. But I was just like, yeah, I find it funny with like, I don't know, being in Edinburgh this weekend, like I feel like there's definitely like a kind of vibe here, because like I've always heard like, you know, Edinburgh stand, Glasgow stand, they are the 2 best gigs in the country. Like, you know, and by the country, they don't mean in the country of Scotland. Yeah. They mean in the UK. Like they are just like something about the audiences, something about the people. And like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely something.
I would agree.
Scottish in a good audience member.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily a good comedian. Like, you know, I think there's plenty of good comedians from everywhere, but in an audience.
There's a lot of, you still get it a lot actually when people, not so much comics because they've experienced it, but audience members, there's this assumption, particularly Glasgow audiences are the toughest in the country.
Right.
Like they're by far and away the toughest. And the thing about them is, if you're really shit, then yes, they are the toughest.
Right.
But if they like you, then they will like you more than any other audience in the country. Like they will adore you if you're good, which is nice. And that's where you get that kind of thing about the stands. Right. That when you have a good weekend at the stand, you have a good weekend. Like there's never.
They're just rolling.
Yeah.
But like, why? What do you think about kind of Scottish culture makes you good? Because I think like a good comedy audience is like kind of this open-mindedness. Mm-hmm. Like in terms of you're not just going to shut down when certain things are said, and also just like attentiveness. Yeah. But I wouldn't associate that with like. There's a. I think Scottish people yelling in the street.
Yeah, I think what makes Scottish humour very, very unique, and what makes the audiences very, very good, is there's a downbeatness about Scottish people.
A downbeatness.
Yeah,
Like an
there's
unhappiness.
Yeah, genuinely, because there's a whole psyche in Scotland that we love. We love being victims. We genuinely love being victimised.
Yeah.
Because it gives us something to moan about. Like, we fucking love moaning. And
sorry, just on that, do you think that's why, like, the kind of England-Scotland dynamic is, like, probably more celebrated by Scottish people than English people?
Yeah, English people could not give a shit about Scotland. They genuinely could not give a shit about Scotland.
Yeah.
But we enjoy having that chip on our shoulder.
You like being little brother. Just that kind of
it comes from history, and it comes from being there's so many. There's a great when we're talking about train spotting. There's a speech that Ewan McGregor gives.
Sure.
Where
let's just fucking Scotland this thing up.
Yeah,
a speech for Ewan McGregor and train spotting.
Yeah, they're going to climb a mountain.
Yeah.
And Tommy has the idea that they're climbing the mountain, and then the rest of them don't want to go, and they're just sat by the train tracks in the middle of nowhere. And he's eulogising about how beautiful the countryside is, and look at the mountains and the lakes and the streams, and this is Scotland. And then Ewan McGregor goes, he properly sums up what he's like. It's shite being Scottish. he's like some people hate the English. I don't. They're just wankers. And he says, whereas we on the other hand are colonised by wankers. And that's kind of properly sums up.
That's it. That's like a great. Is transporting well liked in Scotland?
Yeah. Oh, loved. Absolutely loved.
Because, like, Australians couldn't give a shit about Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, really?
Like, nah, man. Like, what the fuck?
I fucking love Crocodile Dundee. I think it's a great film. I think it's a great...
I've never seen it. I would argue that most of my friends have probably never seen it. Like, genuinely. Like, what? We're a bit late for it, but, you weren't alive when it was made? No way.
85, I think, Crocodile Dundee was made.
Really? I thought it was earlier than that.
No.
Oh, shit. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, Paul Hogan was... I know. Huge. Like,
look, I know who's in it. Like, I'm aware.
I've seen all the stuff he used to do, and like the Channel 4 showed it.
Yeah.
For a while after because Crocodile Dundee here was huge, massive, and then in America it was even bigger. It was like I think it was like the fucking third biggest grossing film of the year or something like that.
Oh man, it was massive. That's what I mean. But like in Australia, like no one gives a shit. Whereas like Scotland, I feel like. Scotland is like, train spotting. You guys like, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, we love it, yeah.
Train spotting.
It's the same with Braveheart. we love Braveheart. Like, we genuinely love Braveheart.
Do you just feel it? You're like,
yeah, you do. And there's like, it's weird because it's like, you feel kind of bad because like, generally, the majority of my friends are English. But there's been times where I remember a gig I was doing, I can't even remember what it was, somewhere in the northwest. And the gig was awful. Everyone died in their arse.
Of course.
And there was some people from the gig hanging about the bar, but then there was also a wedding in there, and you couldn't get a drink. It's just these annoying pricks.
This is just those beautiful shit gigs.
Yeah.
So it's like everything's wrong.
And I went back to my hotel room, which was in the same place we'd done the gig, and Braveheart was on TV. And I'm kind of sitting there watching this, going, I could quite easily go down and murder most of those cunts, like just properly, that passion just ripping through you, going.
That's why Scottish people like Braveheart.
If I had a claymore right now, I'd fucking behead a lot of people in this.
Just straight through. Actually, that was genuinely my first impression of Scotland, because like Australia's got all its stereotypes, right? Like people riding a surfboard, and there's like a kangaroo and like a boomerang and like all that shit. And you come to Sydney, it's just like a bunch of people complaining about their coffee being burnt. It's not that. But then Scotland, I'm like, there's like a bunch of drunk people playing bagpipes, like wearing kilts, and you come in, it's like, fuck, that's exactly what it is. Like, it's genuinely one of the greatest joys, I think, as like an outsider coming in. Yeah. To be like, do you reckon Scotland's fucking Scottish? Yeah, it really is. We genuinely,
whereas other people, so being Australian, you won't like those stereotypes. Whereas if someone said, you're going to come and meet my friend Daniel, he's Australian, and if they had that idea that you're this fucking beach bum surfer dude, you wouldn't enjoy that. Whereas Scottish people, we genuinely take a pride in some of the stereotypes. Like if people go like, oh, it's Scottish people, you drink a lot. You go, yeah, we do. We are genuinely the best.
So
we are
much.
the best at it. Like,
but that's fun, you know. But all right, so Glasgow, Rangers, Celtic. Where I mean, no, because
open that fucking can of worms there.
Yeah. I mean, no, we're talking about, you know, when we had Adam Rowe on, you're talking about, he's like, he's bringing up Hillsborough. It's like, no, so I got to bring up Rangers Celtic, just because it from the outside seems like the most insane thing, in the world. Just like these two teams that just like hate each other like so much, like violence as well, like all that shit, and it's just like. Is it just the kind of religious thing? Is that how it all started? Like Catholic, Protestant?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's... what's weird about it is it's the only sporting rivalry I can think of that isn't based on the actual sport. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot... That's
a really interesting point.
There's a lot of sporting rivalries that are just because...
Of one
those,
team,
like if you like the Yankees and the Red Sox, you go, it's because they were the two biggest teams and they were vying it out.
Well, that's American sport. American sport is always about the sport. Like,
exactly.
I've just been like San Francisco 49ers, Dallas Cowboys in NFL. It's like about the team in that era, and it spawns this.
You think you're the bigger team than them, so whenever they get the upper hand on you, that's when. Whereas Rangers and Celtic goes so much deeper. And it's because of, and bizarrely, they were both. I can't remember the exact kind of things I was reading, but they were both very, very similar teams when they first started out. And in
terms of like fan base, or in terms
in terms of when they were both formed, there wasn't any real rivalry there at all. And then it was the influx of Irish Catholics that came over to Scotland at the time.
Oh, when was that?
I don't...
Way back.
I wouldn't be able to, because I don't want to, like...
Oh, no. Just like, no, I just didn't know that was like a big thing that happened to Scotland.
So we had a huge influx of Irish Catholics who adopted Celtic as a team, because Celtic were set up by the Catholic Church.
Right.
And Protestants... And it was that kind of manufactured thing of... Very much similar to the kind of Brexit thing now, where there is this idea that the government give out to the public that the reason they are not prospering in society is because there's immigrants coming, they're taking your jobs, they're on benefits, they're taking all the money.
And that was the same.
That was very, very similar when Irish immigrants,
Catholics,
when Irish immigrants came to Britain. That was very, very... That they were the not asylum seekers, but they were the immigrants of their day. So the way people talk about like Polish people or Eastern European people now getting benefits, getting something for nothing,
they're coming
taking
in, like,
all the jobs,
migrants,
doing stuff for cheaper. That's what the Irish were when they first came.
I know about this because my uncle was like an Irish dude, and he was like, when he went across to Manchester, it was like in the times of Nina. Yeah, where it's like no Irish need apply. That was like the thing, and like just written on like job descriptions.
And there's that classic sign that people used to have on like shop windows and pubs and stuff, where it was like no blacks, no dogs, no Irish.
Wow. And like they're below dogs. Yeah. You know, like wow.
And that a completely created idea.
Yeah.
Essentially blaming the country's problems on people that weren't to blame for it. So,
on the Irish,
So and I think that's where the kind of tensions started. And then it's just kind of built and built and built. And it's a generational thing, and that's the problem.
Right. And now it's just... Where do you have a team? Like
I don't support either of them.
Okay, cool.
I support my local Queen of the South, which is...
Queen of the South?
The Dumfries team, yeah.
The Dumfries team, okay, cool.
Only football team mentioned in the Bible.
What?
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Come on, why? Explain this.
It's just the term Queen of the South is in the Bible.
Okay.
And there's no other football team that's mentioned in the Bible.
This is just some...
You're not going to find an Aston Villa in the Bible. So.
That's true. You hope not. You hope not. Pretty average team.
Right.
But you live
so
in Glasgow.
I don't have any. Yeah.
Is the rivalry like as heated as people would have you believe? Like, is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's calming down
Right.
It's certainly calming down, because I had no real idea about it until I moved up to Glasgow. That's the thing. It is a very, very west of Scotland
thing.
But
the funny thing is, like, being outside of Scotland, like, that's one of, like, you know, top 3.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like Train Spotting, Highlands, Rangers, Celtic.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's the big.
I mean,
it's the big deal.
I knew about the rivalry, but I thought it was just a sporting rivalry. I don't know anything about it, because it was just something that never came up where I was growing up. There wasn't any kind of, don't speak to him because he's a Catholic. We don't have anything to do with them because they're Protestants. That was never.
Right,
that was
just
never
wasn't a
anything
thing in Dumfries. It
never,
was just
it
like,
just never
look, don't
became
speak
a-
to him. He's poor.
I mean,
we're Tories here.
Yeah,
right?
we've got.
Not-
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
we got a different thing going on.
We've got denominational schools, but
Right, but
there was never at any point.
But are you Catholic, Protestant? Do you identify as
I
either?
don't have a religion either, so
Yeah.
I've got no.
Because I think I was like raised Catholic, so I guess I got to go
Yeah.
for Celtic. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care.
I've got no.
I mean, I guess
No
Tom
horse in
Rogic is
any
an
of them,
Australian
so
fella.
it's-
He plays for
Yeah.
Celtic, so I guess I got to go.
But it's certainly not as bad as it was. I think the kind of late 70s
Right.
to the mid 80s was the
peak
yeah.
violence
And it's,
rivalry time.
there was a Rangers Celtic game that led to the fact that we can't drink alcohol at football matches anymore.
What do you mean? It's
Across the board, you can't buy alcohol at football matches.
but surely that just means that everyone gets loaded before the
Exactly.
game.
It's a completely pointless. It's a complete like the ideas that they have about it are so ridiculous, because I've always had this kind of thing where if people want to do something, they'll find ways to do it.
Oh, of course.
It's the way you'll never ever control drugs.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Because-
Australia's still on that. Like, Australia is like banning music festivals in
See,
Sydney,
see,
and just like
that's-
being
I
like,
know,
because
I know.
people are taking drugs there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know where people are taking drugs? Fucking everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Are
I
you
know.
gonna ban
I know.
the bus?
I
I've seen
know.
people take drugs on the bus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I've probably taken drugs on the bus. I don't know.
It's utter shite, and
Oh, it's absurd. It's like, yeah, it's a war on drugs. It's like, mate, come on.
So
What are you doing?
they introduced alcohol ban, which meant you couldn't drink, but it, like you say, it meant that people were getting loaded up before they went to the game, and then they started having midday kickoffs. But I know some of my friends that have got up to start drinking at like 4 a.m. because they know that the game's at 12. So it's like, if people want to do something, they'll do it.
There is no law, there is no rule that'll stop a man who wants to get drunk.
Exactly.
There's nothing.
So
Can't be fixed.
But I mean, like I say, with each generation, it's kind of being phased out.
Yeah. But so what, as a Glaswegian kind of person, you know, you live the majority of life, like what does that mean compared to Edinburgh? Because like most people, I'm aware of like the kind of rivalry between the cities, and then like that's the kind of main bit of Scotland, and then there's like the other stuff. Like, what does it mean? Does it mean anything?
I've never really paid any kind of,
because I know Edinburgh's supposed to be
attention.
fancy,
yeah,
and Glasgow's supposed to be where the real.
yeah, and it's I've never got the Edinburgh Glasgow rivalry because I don't think it exists, to be honest. I think.
Whereas like the England thing is real.
Yeah,
it's just like, fuck England. Like,
yeah,
you know,
but
we're
like,
Scotland, we're proud.
it's that kind of pantomime thing over, like if you mention Edinburgh in a Glasgow comedy club, you'll get some people boo, but it is very much a pantomime kind of thing.
Right, it's just a bit of fun.
It's not. I mean, like people always talk about Edinburgh being the prettier city.
Yeah, right.
The better to look at. But then when you go through Glasgow, some of the architecture in Glasgow is absolutely stunning.
Right.
And
yeah,
then-
that very famous architect in Glasgow, right?
Yeah, Rennie McIntosh.
There we go. Yeah.
And then people always talk about Glasgow being rough and kind of working class and really, really like some really horrible areas. But then I've been through Edinburgh and there are some real shitholes that put some places in Glasgow to shame. And it's...
Well, I mean,
So
fairness,
it's just
earlier tonight you told me in the filming of the movie Train Spotting that
Yes.
they tried to find, so this is like Mark Nelson's words, they tried to find somewhere shit enough for a certain scene and they couldn't find it in Edinburgh, so they went to Glasgow.
There's
and
a couple
filmed
of... There's a couple of places in Train Spotting that... quite near where I used to live is the bar Do you know Trainspotting as a film well, or?
Well-ish. I've seen it a couple of times.
There's a bit where there's a fight breaks out in a pub because Begbie, who's
Drops
Robert
the-
Carlyle,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
throws the glass over
Yeah.
and it glasses someone in the face.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was filmed in a bar near where I used to live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you seen glassing?
Have I seen a glassing?
Yeah. Like multiple? Is it like?
Nah, no, it's not. Like, I don't.
Well, no, because I've seen a glassing.
Not in the school run. I don't know.
Got the kids just like, man, there's some tough kids. But no, so like, would you move to Edinburgh? Like, is that something you'd do?
I wouldn't. I've never really. I love living in Glasgow.
Yeah.
I've talked to this about my wife. The only other place I'd live in Britain is Brighton.
Really?
Yeah.
So that'd be.
Yeah.
Why Brighton? Because like.
I just think I just love the place. I love Brighton. I love the fact that you can walk down like the lanes and stuff in Brighton.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the shops are different. It's
Right.
not this carbon copy city that every city
The
has
high
now.
street,
You know,
yeah.
you don't have fucking 50 nexts next to another river island, and then there's, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
It's-
dude, Britain is like the worst for that. Britain's like the high street chains, like the same stores,
Yeah.
the same place. Like I thought Edinburgh wasn't like that because during Fringe, when they lived in Old Town, which is kind of more like bespoke.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I just was over in Newtown, like going to a gig last night, and then it was just like a Five Guys.
Oh, the Princess
Pretzel,
Street, yeah, that
like,
kind of,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah,
that shit.
yeah,
You're like, damn
yeah.
it, it's there again.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you guys fucking love a chain, man.
Oh, Christ,
Like, I
yeah.
know it's like the country that's like they had the empire around the world.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You love a chain, but you fucking love a chain.
Do you know what chain I really find weird, which you'll have noticed in London?
Please.
See the Aberdeen Angus steak houses
Yes,
That-
I've seen that.
everywhere. Like, and the most touristy place around about Piccadilly Circus and Leicester
'Cause
Square.
they're high class.
There are-
high chain.
Tons of them,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
absolutely tons of them, and I've never seen anywhere that has like. There's no other English city that has them either, and there's certainly nowhere up here. It's just London have these.
Does Aberdeen have steakhouses? Like, what's
They're
going on
not
up there?
particularly well known for their steak. It's not like they. It's
not
they,
Argentina,
They breed
yeah.
the best cows up in Aberdeen. It's just
Weird. The alliteration, mate. I don't know.
yeah.
Man. I mean, foreigners, like, I'm a foreigner. I'm easy to trick. I'd be like, yeah, Aberdeen's, yeah, sure. I guess Aberdeen's got the Aberdeen cows. You know, those Aberdeen cows. They're the best. But that's funny, Brighton. Yeah, because I always like find it interesting what it'll take for people to move. You know, like that's, you know, most of my friends will only move for work or like love or whatever. That's
Yeah.
essentially the two. And like, yeah, so Brighton, like, would it just maybe just
And
Different
yeah,
vibe.
I would live there. I'd live the other two places in the world. I'd live in New York. I would move to New York in a heartbeat.
really?
If I could survive there. Yeah.
Oh,
I
dude,
would.
it's tough. It's a
Yeah.
tough city.
Oh yeah, New York and Barcelona.
Really
They're the two cities I would live in
interesting.
abroad.
And just like what? Just you been on holiday there? You spent some time.
Yeah, just I used to have a friend that went to university in Barcelona, so I'd visit him
Right.
quite a lot, and I just loved the place. I was like,
But
the
what
whole-
about the Scottish thing? What about the Gaelic thing? Like you just toss that?
Oh fuck that! yeah. I don't speak it anyway, so I'm not like,
Good. So you're learning Spanish now.
give up
This
those
shit'll be
years.
useful.
Yeah.
But what about your wife? You reckon she'd go? She seems like just like I've never met your wife, but like she seems like Scottish to the core. You know, like Gaelic school from an island.
Yeah.
Anyone who's from an island smaller than the UK,
Yeah.
makes me think of them as like UK culture concentrate.
Yeah.
You know, just like they're fucking the exact. You know,
But she,
like they're really
my
mean.
wife grew up in Portugal,
What?
bizarrely, yeah. So she speaks Portuguese as well.
What the fuck?
So-
Why does your wife speak such useless languages? That's insane. What do you speak? English, Gaelic, and Portuguese.
Latin, Serene. What's that fucking? It's like that dead language that's.
There's Latin and ancient Greek. Ancient
Yeah,
Greek's
yeah,
useless
well,
now.
so, yeah.
I don't even know. Well, that's interesting. But like, do you think as a comedian, like the Scottish thing is helpful? Like, do you think when you get on stage as a Scottish comedian, when they hear the accent, they expect a certain thing?
Yes.
What's that? What's the expectation?
I think there's pluses and minuses of every kind of
Yeah.
regional, like very regional accents. I think it is much easier to get away with a lot of stuff in a Scottish accent.
Right.
I think there's a harshness that's expected,
I mean, like Frankie Boyle is like the most people's go-to now for like a Scottish comedian. And it's like it's said in that accent. You know? I could say the things that he says, but they don't sound
exactly. There's
as harsh,
and it's the way you're saying them. It's very, very blunt.
Yeah, but his accent is much more Glasgow. Than yours, right? Like yours isn't particularly.
No, not particularly.
But like, has it changed? Has it morphed?
Yeah,
since you spent
it's
time
weird.
There?
It's that kind of way. Like when I go down back home, people think I've got a Glaswegian accent.
Yeah.
Whereas whenever I get in a taxi in Glasgow and people ask me where I'm from, they know I'm not from Glasgow because they can hear they can hear that twang in it that means I've not grown up there my entire life. So
right. So they just hear that immediately.
Yeah.
And like, so it's weird. I think with accents, like. Because I think picking up slang is very easy, but I think picking up an accent is like something that really takes like a long.
Oh yeah.
You never lose it. Like you'd never lose it.
No, it was interesting the other night. So I was in Norway on Thursday night.
How do they go with your accent?
They were fine. They were absolutely fine.
Wow.
Totally. It's weird. I found this when you're doing gigs, particularly kind of Scandinavian people. They're almost apologetic if they don't understand something. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like
because for them it's an English lesson.
Yeah, if they have to ask you
to
repeat yourself, or if they have to ask you the meaning of something, they're saying sorry to you because they feel bad that they didn't know it.
Yeah, that's
like, as if my Norwegian's shit hot. That kind of like.
That's like I mean, but at the same time, like I think about that shit as well. It's just like, but no, like we speak English, like we speak the winner.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're sick at badminton, you've got to try to be good at football as well.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're good at football, you couldn't give a fuck.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's very true.
It's just like, dude, we got the number one.
Yeah.
Sorry, some people are born with it.
It was interesting. I was talking to a guy after the gig on Thursday night, and he was from Margate. So he was born proper kind of Cockney, south of England, and but he had gone up to move to Aberdeen. When he was 18, when the oil boom happened, he moved up there because a lot of his friends were going up there, and he was telling me he was just knocking round businesses saying, "I want to work in the oil industry. Give me a job. Give me a job. Give me a job." And he spent most of his life there. And when he started speaking to me, he had this proper Cockney accent.
Yeah.
But as he was speaking to me more, an Aberdonian accent started to come across him.
Right.
So it was almost like speaking to me kind of drew that out. Do you know what I mean? It's like
absolutely true. I think that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because now he's like hearing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's hearing you, which makes him think of being in Aberdeen,
exactly.
which makes his mouth start.
Yeah.
It's like like when as we were talking about him earlier, Alex Williamson, the loose Aussie bloke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's from Adelaide, like country Adelaide, and whenever we hang out for a long time, I just hear myself
starting to mimic.
getting like stronger, like Because my Australian accent is not the strongest, but like when I hang out with like a hard Australian accent, I'm like, yeah, fucking nah, like it's all, I just hear it just starts because because it's familiarity, like an accent is familiarity. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And like that's the funny thing. It's like, you're saying about like Scottish, they expect that kind of harshness. I think Australians they expect like a bit of ignorance. When you go out on stage, people are like, he's Australian. He's like, he's probably a small town boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, lit up in the lights. I'm like, mate, Sydney's got 6 million people.
I know.
Don't fucking bring that to me.
I know.
Like, I know way more people than you. All right, like this. I'm not intimidated by this shit. But at the same time, in fairness, you guys have better comedy crowds, even so.
Wow.
Like, as in, there's more of them.
I enjoyed the Australian crowds when I was over there.
You had a good time?
I thought they were great.
I think we're very excited by an accent. We love it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of natural, But like I would assume you would have done very well. I mean, whenever we were together, you did very well.
I remember watching what's that? Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh yeah.
And there's always, in most of them, there is always some point where the waitresses will comment on how sexy his accent is. And you're kind of going, like, Gordon Ramsay doesn't have that sexy an accent. It's not like I mean, I always go on about how Scottish people we pretend that we have a sexy accent, and it's not really. Sean Connery has a sexy accent. That's who has a sexy accent.
That's not a Scottish accent. It's a Sean Connery accent. I mean, that's funny. I've got multiple friends who are like Scottish is the one for me.
Really?
Break me off a piece of that. That's the number
Wow.
one accent. Yeah. It tends to be Scottish and Irish.
See, Irish understand. Like Irish.
But you guys,
It's
like,
a very...
there's a deepness and thickness to like a Scottish accent that you're kind of like, oh yeah. I get it, man. I just remember during the Fringe, this one dude, he was like from just south of Glasgow, and his accent, I was like, mate, talk to me forever. I don't give a fuck what you're saying. He's talking about, this is how good his accent was. He was talking to me about Formula One.
Oh,
I could not give a
Jesus.
fuck about
Yeah,
Formula One.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just keep going. Just lay it on me.
Nice.
But like, actually, sorry, this is like one of my favorite things about the UK. What is your term of endearment for a stranger? Like, because in
right.
London it's mate,
Yeah.
but as you go higher up it changes. Are you a man?
I'm a pal.
A pal.
Pal.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I've talked to, Mick Ferry.
Yeah.
Brilliant comedian. And we were talking about how, depending on a Scottish accent, how you say the word pal can be either he really, really likes you or you've really fucked this guy off. And he's like, so if you kind of go, all right, how you doing, pal? And if you go, all right, how you doing, pal? There's a threateningness of pal that just kind of...
That's funny because Australians got that with mate. You can do an aggressive mate.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You're right, mate.
Yeah.
Like, that's the...
Aye.
That's the game. The game is on. Oh man, we've hit our time. I don't want to keep you.
Sweet man, that's fucking...
Because this is recorded after we both run at the Monkey Barrel in Edinburgh, which I want to just give the proper shout out to because it's great.
Great club.
That's a great
really,
club.
really great club.
New.
Yeah,
it's new, but it was Rams. It was a good time, and so we're just recording this late in Edinburgh. I don't know. I think the vibe was a little bit different. We'll see. I think the listeners can be like, I think this was maybe you should do it like this from now on. Post gig, have your coffee, fucking get ready to go.
Yeah.
If people want to find you, where do they find you?
I am on Twitter at Mark Nelson Comic, and it's that on Instagram as well. Perfect. And the same on Facebook.
Yeah, lovely.
All Mark Nelson Comic. Yep.
Do you have anything big coming up? Where any sweet things dropping?
Not really. There might be some stuff coming out because we get our own TV channel starting in January. BBC Scotland, they're going to have their own TV channel.
Wait, you don't have one already?
No.
Get the fuck out.
We've got a regional BBC.
No. This annoys me on a very personal level because there's BBC Wales.
Yeah,
they have their own.
We've got BBC Scotland, but it's not. They don't produce
Scottish content,
like their own thing. Yeah, so it's like.
But Wales, they do that, and that fucks me off because Wales
you hate
is
Wales.
An insignificant, nothing country, and you guys are something.
Have you had a Welsh guest on yet?
No, I will soon. I want to.
I'm trying to think who would be the best.
Well, I was going to get Robin Morgan.
Oh, Robin would be great. Yeah,
because he's so nice.
Yeah,
he's like the nicest man.
Yeah,
in the
Robin
world.
would be great,
and he's funny as hell.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to be like, "Fuck your country, bro." Straight up. Anyway, dude, let's call it.
Thank you, man.
Mark
Absolute
Nelson.
pleasure.
Thank you. Mark Nelson. The reason I'm speaking so bloody quietly is because I'm currently in a Starbucks, still in Edinburgh, about to head to Manchester and then back home in London. Mark Nelson, obviously one of the greats, one of the loveliest people in comedy and super funny. Please go check him out if you are ever around Scotland or the UK, man. He's a busy man. He performs bloody everywhere, and I love the fact that he is so Scottish and so fine with it, and that's my favourite thing about Scottish people in general. I gotta say, they're just so chill with being Scottish. As you said, they like the stereotypes, they're into it. You think stuff about Scottish people, they already think that about themselves, and they love it. Beyond that, please get around him on social media and all that stuff. Just one quick reminder about the last Australian Comedians Dope Comedy Show this Sunday at the Backyard Comedy Club in Bethnal Green. If you're in London, come on down. It's a great lineup. It's going to be a good night. I will be there hosting. If you are a fan of the podcast, please come up, say hello. I'm very, very happy to meet you. All right, guys, just a brief one this time. I will see you next week with a very exciting episode that's already in the can, recorded in a very interesting place. I hope that builds some hype up. All right, I'll catch you guys next week. Cheers. Bye.